I want to talk about Reform UK because I kind of forgot about them a bit until I read about the parish council that is banning Christmas as a consequence of all the flags that are on the lamppost. So I thought it'd be a timely moment for you to give us a quick sort of update on how all these councillors, all the other councillors are getting on. I know that the 5 county councils that were essentially elected on a promise to cut council tax have all revealed that they're going to put it up by 5%, which is the maximum amount allowed. So, you know, plus ça change there. What about individual experiences, resignations, removals, natural wastage?
There's quite a lot. I mean, I've got reams of paper in front of
What?
me. Yes. So it's 38 councillors that have either been kicked out, suspended, defected or resigned since that sort of huge win for reform back in
That's
May.
about 1 in 20, is it?
Is it? Yes, quite. It's equates to about 5%.
To be fair then, because the balance is important, that is a much slower rate of attrition than their MPs.
It is. That is true.
The MPs either get removed or resign at a much quicker rate than the councillors, but 1 in 20 is still suboptimal.
It is. Well, in Labour, if you compare it with Labour, they're 2% and Reform are at about 5%, and Labour's the second largest in terms of a party of that scale. Reform won 700 odd seats at the recent elections. But I mean, certainly it seems unprecedented. I spoke earlier on, James, with the local government expert, Professor Tony Travers, who told me that it was an unusual rate of people leaving.
The loss of 40 or more councillors by Reform in the short period since they were won in May is unusual. Nothing like that's happened to the Conservative or Labour parties, for example. So in such a short time, it's definitely not the way politics normally pans out. Whether losing councillors is going to cut through to the electorate, whether people will think it looks a bit chaotic, I think almost certainly only at the margin. There's quite enough going on in politics at the national and local level which will affect voting more. So, I think Reform will want to convey the impression of being a well-run party. This won't help, losing councillors, but in the end, other issues are going to drive voting more.
I don't want to contradict the inimitable Tony Travers from my alma mater, and neither do I want to sound like a Tom Jones tribute act. But it's not unusual if you've been following Nigel Farage's various political outfits over the last few years, but it is unusual in the broader context of British politics. Henry, where have they all gone?
Well, so one has gone to UKIP, Amelia Randall.
They're still a thing.
I think she's now their only councillor across the country because she said we need to embed Christianity back into the soul of the country, so she left Reform and went to UKIP.
Someone who's never read what Jesus had to say about how we should treat foreigners.
There are new parties, I'm delighted to say about, James.
Yay!
So we have the Cornish Independent Non-Aligned Group, which is made up of 5 Reform councillors.
Yeah, I'm so pleased to hear that, because I'll tell you who I really got no time for. The Cornish Independent Aligned Group. They drive me potty.
Yeah,
As for the People's Front of Judea, let's not even get started on them.
Well, they're very different, these guys. So there were 5. They actually have lost a councillor already, the Cornish Independent Non-Aligned Group.
Where's he gone? Or
Christine Parsonage has resigned.
She's not gone to the Independent Aligned Group for Cornish.
No, she's off the council.
She's gone entirely.
Her husband's
moved to Devon.
Her husband's the leader of the Cornish Independent Non-Aligned Group. He used to actually be the leader of Reform on Cornwall Council. He's gone. There is also speculation Kent is the big story, because tomorrow is their first council meeting since Zoomgate, where of course all of the councillors, we'll say all few councillors
they were all
were booted
swearing
out.
at each other. And what was the name of that lovely woman also on Zoom all those years? Days?
Jackie Weaver.
Jackie Weaver. Yes, exactly.
But
Jackie Weaver.
There were 5 who have gone because they were suspected of leaking that Zoom footage.
I like to hear what everybody thinks. However, when it comes to making the really big decisions, and I'm afraid LGR is one of those really big decisions, sometimes I will make a decision that might not be liked by everybody in the group. But I'm afraid you're just going to have to fucking suck it up, okay? Because I am the democratically elected leader.
There's 7 actually in total who've left Reform on Kent Council. That's the real pin-up, by the way, Reform on Kent.
I'm going to channel James Cartledge for a moment. Can you guarantee that there is only 5 who've gone? Because since you came on air, the Telegraph have... No, they haven't.
Well, it's 7 in total, but 5 because of the leaked footage. But I can tell you, James, that ahead of the council tomorrow, there is quite a lot of speculation online, and I will be there tomorrow, that there may well be a new group, a new party called the Independent Reform of Kent Group, which will be Reform councillors how many yet of the seven.
So run me through that again. Independent.
So Independent Reform of Kent group, where they're ex-Reform councillors who've been suspended, resigned, kicked out, one of the three, and will form this new grouping because they're very dissatisfied with the leader, Lyndon Kemcaran.
Once again, independent.
So the Independent Reform of Kent group, and not to be confused with the Cornish Independent Non-Aligned group.
Or the Independent Reform for Kent group, which is yet to be formed.
Yet to be formed.
I'm being very careful. I always have Nicky Campbell in the back of my mind at these moments.
So do I.
Or indeed the Independent for Cornwall aligned group, about whom we know next to nothing, which frankly is an indication of your pitiful journalism.
We don't exactly, we don't know yet, and I'm sorry not to have got the scoop, but I can tell you, James, that another time we'll have to go through some of these individual members, because there's some curious examples, one of which, someone who actually signed Nigel Farage's, he was a signatory for Farage to stand for election in Clacton.
Yes, but that means Nigel's never met him.
Well, I mean, he's a Clacton councillor. He's left Reform in the last few weeks.
What?
Unclear why, so we'll be finding out.
OK. And just, I don't know, apropos nothing in particular, you don't have to have taken bribes from a Kremlin stooge to parrot Kremlin talking points in the European Parliament. Some people are perfectly happy to do it for free.